Coffee Pot Conversations.
Bonjour, et bienvenue to Coffee Pot Conversations, the podcast about Paris that brings you Paris the way that I know how to, which is really badly in a totally unprofessional manner. So there's not much to say at this stage. Episode 4.8, a November overnight stay in Paris, part 17. That's it, really. Just, I guess, straight to the news. So here's the news. Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Yep, you would have noticed a wince. That's because I'm in absolute agony. Though I slept awkwardly, I've done something to my right shoulder. Even that hurts. But hey, there we go. So Rory's on crutches because of his injury from back in January. Had another setback a few weeks back. We're seeing physios and hospitals and things. Jasper got injured today playing rugby. I say today. If you're watching this day release, it was Sunday. If you're watching this afterwards, it was a Sunday before the release of the episode. He played a blinder and got cleared out of a ruck from the side, which shouldn't have happened. And as he's landed, his body and his arm's gone behind him. So the three of us, we're not doing too good today. But I am doing quite well because I am on Doliprane. Hopefully that comes out in the right way and not the old, as these selfie cameras tend to do. But moving on from homegrown news, we have the news in France that Nicolas Sarkozy did start his 5-year prison sentence. He was transferred from his home in the 16th arrondissement to La Santé in the Montparnasse district, which is also on the left bank. It was the first time since 1945 that a former leader of France has been put in prison. Now, I'm just going to check my phone. I knew I wouldn't be able to remember it, but it was the chap Philippe Pétain, and he was jailed for treason in 1945. That's all to do with the Vichy regime. So, all that's left for me to say on this is, obviously, Nicolas Sarkozy is going to appeal, but I do get a chance to say Colonel Gaddafi on a Parisian podcast once again. We're talking of once again. Yep. We've had a break-in at the Louvre. So some people have gone in, done some damage from the outside during opening hours, done a bit more damage on the inside, taken some jewels and dropped a few on the way, damaging them, and hot-footed it off on mopeds. I'm not going to cover this. Everyone's been covering it from everyone to everyone. But the best people to check out, if you do wish to look at these later on in time, that really hurts. Later, just move me on. Later on in time is Oliver G on the Eiffel Tower. He had some listeners phone him up straight off and say, look, we were there. So he zoomed around and did an interview. The other person I would say is on, I forgot what it's called, but it's the Instagram version of Twitter. I've completely forgotten what it's called. Bear with me. Again, I'm checking the phone. I really do need to take a tablet shortly. It is the app called Threads. So Threads, Claudine Hemingway, amazing lady. Yep, she appeared in season 1 of Coffee Pot Conversations, hosted by an Englishman in Paris. But Claudine Hemingway, not only on Threads, but on Instagram as well. Follow her. She's amazing. She does some lovely, lovely stuff surrounding the left bank and also the Louvre. Her photographs, when she goes and looks at her paintings, she zooms in, and I love that stuff. But I'm not going to report on saying what's gone on. It's unfortunate, and France aren't happy about it. For me, I kind of expected it. If you've been following previous news stories, you'll know that I had mentioned about other break-ins and thefts that have been taking place. There's been cutbacks left, right and centre. But I'm not going to harp on. What I am going to mention, though, is I've seen on Instagram a whole heap of AI-generated, I'm hoping it's AI-generated content. Things like Lego Louvre sets where you get the motorbikes doing the break-ins. I've also seen President Macron steal them. I've seen the Mona Lisa steal them. So that's very, very quick, very, very quick. This is all real, I assure you. No one could create this on AI. Look at the wispy hair. Look, what does that tell you? It tells you that I'm going to be 50 soon. It also tells you I need a haircut. So Nev, if you're listening. Yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for the news, because there's nothing really newsworthy that I can talk about because my head's banging. And apologies for the short news, but I will be trying to keep it at this length. That's the news, not the hair, for season 5. Anyway, here is episode 4.8 in November overnight stay in Paris, part 17.
Coffee Pot Conversations.
Okay, so very quickly, talking audio, just at the top of Galerie Lafayette and through the gap, up on top of the hill, Sacré-Cœur, boom, up in Montmartre. So that's sort of facing towards the north. We turn around at 2:30 in the afternoon, we've got the sunlight bouncing in our eyes. But we've got all different parts of Paris. We've got through there again. Just there, we've got the wheel, and Carrousel. And then we've got Palais Garnier. We've got Tour Eiffel. A load of other stuff. One day when it's not so busy, I'll work it all out.
And obviously by busy I meant exhausted. That day is not today.
Anyway, so that's the rooftop, but how do we get down? And once we're down, what do we do? Well, once we're down, we're going to head towards Boulevard Osman Lafayette and make our way half an hour or so, walking probably an hour, to the Gare du Nord. On the way, might stop off, grab a little something. Let's do this guy down. Pardon? Because when you get a 6'3" Londoner, 6'4", 6'3" and a quarter, 6'3" and 3/4, how big I am. When you get someone my size walking towards you, the best thing to do is stand right in my way, especially when I'm carrying bags that doubles my width. Not to worry. Anyway, it was here that I looked at getting a suitcase last time at one point. I think that might have been in my original blog. But even with a discount, Black Friday, 30% off. Still don't think 30% off is warranting, although I could really do with it. Right, if I just walk past the down escalator. There it is, I think I did. Yeah, let's swap you back. Pardon, mademoiselle. So let's look at my feet on the escalator. Not sure what I was doing. And we are on the 5th floor. Walking around, escalator down to the 4th floor.
That's fourth floor, Le Chasseur Femme. And they're going to make their way down to the third floor. Have it? Yeah. Still need to get biscuits from Monoprix, which I will do round the corner from la Gare du Nord. That was third floor, La Mode Femme. Heading to the second floor.
Chère cliente, chers clients, les Galeries Lafayette s'efforcent d'assurer un climat ambiant agréable tout en appliquant leur plan de sobriété énergétique. Votre grand magasin régule sa température intérieure et modère son utilisation des systèmes de chauffage et
La Mode Femme. On the second floor, making our way around to the first floor. As you can tell, I didn't bother checking with the men's because why would I? And we've got security checking his watch, talking to his watch, smelling his perfume. I've never understood that. We're going to turn our left and leave. One more floor. That's my fault. Got conflicted by security. Been really exciting this trip to Gare Lafayette. Not done half the things I want to do here in Paris today, but I've done a lot. Let's turn right towards Port-au-Prince. Right. Oh yeah. Five Guys just down the road, but not having to do. So I'm going to go this way, and hopefully I'm going the right way. This red doorway, H&M. But we are now half an hour away from Gare du Nord. If I can keep me wobble of the camera straight, that'll be even better. For now, it's 3:15, I reckon. 4:15, give me an hour. But then it also depends on where I'm going to stop, if I'm going to stop. And for those of you listening, you will not know that we are walking along Rue Lafayette. It was opened actually in 1823 and created by Claude Rambateau. I do enjoy the ambient sounds of a Parisian street. So, Monoprix. I'll get it nearer, because, yeah, it's worn out. Oh, wow, that's the Monoprix. So, on my blog, Je suis étranger, I wrote about this Monop, which means that a little way further down, just there, you will see Crêpe, which is a creperie. And that's what I mentioned about the people having the coffees and stuff. Oh, I just went past this Chinese. Oh, that's hit the button, that is. Anyway, moving on. Rue Lafayette, home to the original site of the original 70 square metre Galerie Lafayette. The famous boulevard links the Gare du Nord to the Opéra Garnier, as we've seen during this episode. And we'll actually see the other end of the boulevard on the next episode. Rue Lafayette was named after Gilbert de Montreal Marie de Lafayette, and he will be getting an episode, but in a later season. There are plenty of side streets that you should visit if you have the time, and you'll find a whole range of experiences that are often forgotten about in guidebooks and on influencer posts. But as one who always enjoys Paris as a visitor, not a tourist, I love going from A to C, whilst glimpsing at B, D and E. Rory actually said the other day how amazed he was that I always ended up where I wanted to get to, and that's both in London and in Paris. I think someone's been shopping. Lady Kevin 3, Gare Lafayette, Christmas bags. I wonder how many people are tourists and if people simply Black Friday shopping. Oh yeah, happy Black Friday. Oh yeah. So this is where it goes wrong. So look, you've got this street is a one-way street, except you've got a two-way cycle lane. So you can see it's two-way cycle lane still there, but then it branches off to the right and it takes the other side of where that van is. So if you don't know what's going on, you really don't know what's going on, and it's not great. Be interesting to find out how many accidents have taken place with bicycles. 6 weeks prior to my visit to Paris, Paul Varney was murdered in a road rage incident. He was a cyclist and his murderer drove an SUV. Oh dear. So, we've got about 29 minutes left. I think I found a restaurant for Nev. And take a photo from this camera. Hold on. That's really not great for the video, so I'll have to can't splice that. What I may do is just stop and start again every time I stop to take a photograph. If I do stop to take a photograph. But for now, je suis chercher une boulangerie. Woo. Yeah. So, carrying on. Look at that. A minute and a half gone.
During the next piece of silence, I'll be doing my call to action. I probably won't mention where to find the podcast though. There's no need because you're already here.
So Rue Lafayette, on the streets I often end up walking along on the way back to the station or on the way from the station.
So as mentioned previously, I do have a blog. It's an Englishmaninparis.blog. Check it out when you get the time. Or if you want to get in touch via Instagram, my Instagram handle, I don't know who says that anymore, is at an Englishman in Paris blog. Well, I have been very quiet lately, so I'm getting ready for my next trip to Paris and a whole heap of behind the scenes stuff, including real world life stuff. That's quite exciting for me, but not for you guys. So I will be updating Instagram a little bit later on. If you want to leave a vocal message for me, voicenotes.anenglishmaninparis.blog. Just like a voicemail, if anyone leaves those anymore. I am getting really old.
Now this station and bistro, I've taken a few photos of over the years. I've even tried to manipulate the colorations. Let's have a quick look. La Gargamel. Yeah, only did that because of the Smurfs. I don't know if it's connected. Oh. But that's why I do it. And that's the old vintage sign of the metro. Not the Art Deco, but the other one. Anyway, back to Rue Lafayette. And here's a sign for the 9th that says Rue Lafayette, 1757-1834, Héros de la guerre d'indépendance américaine, de 1777 at 1782. Now you notice that I didn't once attempt the French numbers. I'm not silly, that's why. Bah. Whoop. It's quite funny to repeat that. Still want to walk into me. When I say funny, obviously, I don't mean hysterical funny.
I couldn't decide between just waffling on or speeding up this next section of the walk, so I'm making it double speed and no jazz. Enjoy 30 seconds of sped up Paris.
Franprix. Merci à vous. Christmas tree. Almost seems strange seeing a Christmas tree in sunlight end of November in Paris on a Friday, Black Friday. Okay, now I know I was joking about it, And I know I'm tempted, but we're at now Khaddad. If we look down here, there is a restaurant down there, the Petit Cadet. It's where Nev and I went. However, this next place I'm going to show you is where Nev and I went with the boys, and then later on we went back, later on either in the year or the following year, I don't remember, just Nev and I went back. And we didn't realise it was that one until we realised where we were. And this place that I'll tell you about in a second is where we met Kika the dog. Yep, it's where we also had the incident of me trying to order cake to take away for Jasper. Starbucks. Okay, there's no Kika, which is a shame. Just in that table where the chap in the white jumper is, if you could see it through the reflections, is where we went, is where we sat. Courtyard. And that means we're nearly back to the main road. Just going to crack a left, which then means I need to find une boulangerie près d'ici. Nice little example of Ottoman architecture. Not the jewellery's, let me let's have a look. I know you can't see stuff, but if we take that necklace there, number 11, yep. There it is, and it says aquamarine. Yeah, we have to ask them. Right, let's have a look at number 14. And this is Peridot Tourmaline Sapphires or Rose Gold, Rose Gold, number 14. Is that one there? Well, that's quite nice. For just under 2,500, no, 2,840 euros. Number 13 is just under 2,500. Ah, it's because of earrings, that's why. There we are, and that's, tourmaline, rose tourmaline and diamonds and gold, rose gold. Doesn't look particularly rose. But anyway, so that's jewellery shops on Rue Lafayette. Now, some people it's Lafayette, some people say it's Lafayette. I do believe that he actually changed his name at one point during the War of American Independence. Or the American Revolution. I don't remember which one it was. Whatever I just said earlier back, that's the one where he changed his name. It's all to do with that war. He sort of caught up with George Washington and stuff. I don't really know what it was about. But you know, France and the revolutions. Makes me think it was the American Revolution then, which may have been the War of Independence. One and the same? I don't know. Not so it's for another episode, but at the minute, I'm probably going to give up podcasting. Worn out. Absolute worn out. Anyway, it's all good. So, just continuing along Rue Lafayette. And I'm going to try and find a boulangerie, so I will probably cut the video down shortly. And we'll take it from there. A few interesting facts about the street we're going to cross. One, it's taken me several takes to get this right. Two, it's called Rue de Faubourg Poissonnière. Three, it marks a boundary between the 9th and 10th arrondissements of Paris. And whatever comes next, it used to be called Chaussée de la Nouvelle France, which led to the hamlet of Nouvelle France, founded in 1642 on an old vineyard. Urinoir. Yeah, next time I do this, I know exactly what to bring and what not to bring. Bring loads of battery chargers, cables. And that's it. Sort of bare basics of the camera. Don't need thingies. Don't need tripods. A couple of clamps, maybe one tripod. Clamps and adapters. Not I've actually used the clamp. What I did last night to yeah, I used the clamp last night to hold the camera to do a time lapse of me sleeping, which was great. Really didn't work because it was dark and I was asleep, and yeah, I was awake while it was still dark, so you get some unnatural light while I was watching a Netflix film, Ready or Not. It's Ned's recommendation, which was kind of good actually. It had a little bit of twist to it, lightly humorous. I wouldn't say it's a comedy, but lightly humoured. And yeah, so there we go. So I'm now coming up to the part where we continue walking up. I'm going to crack a left shortly, and at that point I will turn the camera off and pull out my phone and look for a boulangerie. There's a bistro, traiteur asiatique, pharmacy. I'll soon find somewhere to grab me a nice cake. Yeah.
It's taken a while to get here, but this is the Rue de Faubourg Poissonnière.
One thing I'd like to do. Oh, found it. But one thing I'd like to do, you know what, I'm going to talk later, because I'm going to sit here in this place and rest my feet, charge my batteries, and kill an hour. See you soon.
Coffee Pot Conversations.
And that was episode 4.8, November Overnight Stay in Paris, part 17. I was meant to have Vonnie give a little bit of French pronunciation with the dates, but she was too busy being at the Beauty Awards, so couldn't make that. And that's pretty much about it. Yep, Frankie, Christmas just around the corner. I am so thoroughly exhausted. Just finished rugby. Zoomed round to Costa Coffee in Tesco's at Hymes Park, where if you follow my blog on an Englishmaninparis.blog, every so often you'll know that I pop in here to do some writing. I was here when I was doing my Masters in Creative Writing. And here I am now doing a podcast. That's quite exciting times for me. But really, that's about it for the conclusion, which means already, after barely just over a minute, it's time for Jasper's jingle.
Coming up on Coffee Pot Conversations.
We have episode 4.9, the November Overnight Stay in Paris, part 18. Yep, the final part of my November Overnight Stay in Paris from 2024. It's taken 18 episodes to get through an overnight stay. Yeah, I had no idea how it's going to go, but we're going to talk about more of that later in the best bits, episode 4.10. The best bits. Do you remember the best bits from season 1? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, it's getting noisy here because everyone sees that I'm recording, so they decide they're going to make some noise. So I will now just finish the episode by passing you over to Rory.
Coffee Pot Conversations.